Ever since I started my journey to get in the best shape of my life, there has been one singular lie that has held me up in progress so much. I can't even begin to explain to you guys. And that's the point of me making this video, is because I would have been able to achieve my goals so much faster if I understood that this lie, it's everywhere. It's subconsciously eating up your progress mentally and physically. Right before I get into it, my name is Tanner. I post every single day on educating you guys how to get in the greatest mental and physical shape of your life to not only improve your physique, but improve every aspect of life. If you guys know anything about me, you know I practice what I preach. The proof is all authentically documented here on YouTube, here on Instagram, or over on Instagram in the description every single day. But no long intros over here, you know how we do it. Let me get right into the point. So we got our famous stick figure here, which represents, you, or a version of you that probably exists if you clicked on this video. Skinny, doesn't stand out too much, maybe fat, like maybe we give him a little stomach stick figure, a little fat stick figure, right? Whatever it is, right? There's obviously an issue that everybody have. I have my own issues as well, even. I mean, this applies to everybody. But this specifically applies to the people that have not built the discipline to make themselves improve every single day and make it like an actual force of habit, if you will. And that exact issue is you have debt that you have not paid off yet. Now, before you click off this video, this is not some sort of ad. I am not talking about the traditional sense of debt, okay? I'm talking about something else that I've actually coined myself. I haven't heard this anywhere else on the internet. I'm talking about failure debt. Now, what exactly is failure debt, and how is that keeping you small or keeping the big old man titties on you? How's that working? If you have a goal, or if you have anything specific in mind, whether it's to lose weight, to gain weight, to eat right, whatever it is, right? You have your reasons for those goals. And there's a certain principle within the human mechanism of psychology, if you want to go that deep, that people think they can achieve their goals a lot easier and a lot harder than they actually can. Let me explain. Everybody thinks they're special, right? Everybody thinks they're different. So if they see somebody else achieve a goal in X amount of time, there's always that weighing thing in the back of their mind that, oh yeah, if I really tried my hardest, I could do it way quicker than that. It took him 12 weeks, I could do it in 8, right? Everybody has that mechanism, that narcissistic kind of tendency inside of them. Sorry if that offends you, but we all have it, right? It's psychology. But everybody also at the same time kind of has that feeling like that they may actually never even get the goal at all. And the reason that there's that dissonance between like getting it and not getting it, that if you live in between that dissonance, you'll never get it in the first place, is something called failure debt. And this is basically a debt that has to be paid off before you can actually build the momentum necessary to change your identity. Let me give you a visual representation. Let's say you want to get giant arms. Now, if you want to lose your man titties or whatever it is, just replace that. This works for everything. It's a general concept, right? Let's say that's what you want. These are thermometers, right? Trust me, these are supposed to be thermometers, okay? They just represent how close you are to achieving your goals. But why are there two? Basically, the idea is that you have to be able to fail. You have certain things you are not in mastery of, right? Before you even start working towards your goal. So for example, you have to have a certain amount of failures that you go through until you can make consistent progress. And that's why you have to pay off what's called the failure debt, so you could start filling up the bucket of the goal, right? So for example, in order to get on a consistent diet, you might have to eat out when you weren't supposed to 3 times. You might, and this is different for everybody, but you might have to eat a donut after your dinner that went over your calories 5 times, right? You're gonna have to fail, whether you like it or not. And the faster you understand that, the faster you get to your goals. So every time you fail, you actually move your progress up a little bit if you apply this concept, okay? Most people quit because when they fail, they give up. When they have a bad morning, when they don't get up until 12, when they wanted to get up at 8, right? When that happens, right, people give up. People just say, okay, I'm done. This whole day's trash. And then that failure debt you could have built works its way back down. And guess what? When you don't have the failure debt built up, you cannot start filling up your goal. The great thing about this is you can transfer this progress over here if you're using it right. You do not have to fill this all the way before this starts to get full, right? In this analogy. So for example, if you eat a bad meal, right, but it increases your failure debt, now you're up here, now you're getting closer, right? That probably at least gave you momentum to eat good for a week because you're feeling that pain. Now guess what? Now you're here. Now you're at least making progress on your real goal. And if you use this mechanism time and time again, you could fail less and fail less to the point where once this is full, there's no more room to fail. Unless you're an idiot with zero IQ, you know the mistakes that you've made and you learn from them. We learn from our mistakes around here. That's why you guys follow me, because that's what I preach, okay? Now, anytime you do anything, you start to fill this up more and more and more. Now, this might have taken 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, right? This might have taken, longer. This might have been quicker, depending on how good of a learner you are, depending on how much you internalize this information. But the point is, you need to fill this up to achieve your goal. You cannot shortcut that, and you cannot shortcut this, okay? The only viable shortcut to this failure debt is having some sort of mentor, right? That's why I coach people to skip that process, to erase this, right? But this is not a plug for my coaching. I want to give you guys free value. That's why I explained how you could do it yourself. But the point is, you want your goals to be up here. But how can you actually implement that into your life? You might be saying, Tanner, I get it, bro. I need to fail. I need to have a better relationship with failing, and I need to chase it. But how the hell can I do that? I'm going to explain to you exactly how I did it in my journey. No, I'm wearing a hoodie, but I'm pretty jacked, guys. I'm pretty damn big, okay? You guys can see that on my Instagram or my other YouTube videos if you don't believe me. How did I get there? So for me, my first goal, we'll keep this up here, was getting giant arms. Because when I was younger, the pain that I would sort of experience is I was fat at the beginning, but we're gonna fast forward to when I lost some weight, which took work, but I got too skinny, right? I remember kind of thinking that not being fat would fix my problems, and it really didn't, right? Unless you're in like peak physical shape, you're always gonna be yearning for more and more and more. And even me, who's in amazing physical shape, I'm still yearning for more and more and more, right? That's how it works. But I'm at least aware of the fact that I'm damn glad I'm not, fat anymore, because that's a horrible existence to live. Sorry if you're fat. I'm not here to stroke your ego. I'm here to have you learn. So yeah, being fat sucks, and you can never get your way out of that. But my point is, the pain I would feel is like, damn, like, why would somebody that I'm meeting for the first time, maybe a girl even, why would she pay me the time of day when there's plenty of dudes out here who take care and put the work in on their own body, which is a physical representation of their strength of mind? They've paid the failure debt. These are all things that people can sense when they meet you for the first time. Or maybe when you walk into the gym, you can't even enjoy a peak life experience that is a good workout. You can't even enjoy that because you're so self-conscious because you're the fattest dude there, or you're the smallest dude there, and it's like your first day. You got to pay that off, right? And the way I paid that off was relentlessly hating the experience for a long time, which is no way to do it, right? If I would have had this video, if I would have had a better understanding, it could have been a lot easier for me, right? It could have took me a lot quicker to actually fall in love with it, which is what's necessary to actually building the passion and changing who you truly are, right? We know if you watch my videos, you cannot do something you hate forever, right? You won't stick to it. It's just not humanly possible, okay? You're not David Goggins. So paying down that failure debt quicker will get you to the point where you can love it faster and faster, and you'll also be making progress a lot faster. So that aspect, it works twofold, and I'm gonna show you how. We all live in something that I like to call the comfort loop, okay? Life is very comfortable nowadays, and I'm sure you guys have probably seen this, and if you're not aware, our bodies are designed to chase comfort all the time. We're always chasing comfort, we're scrolling, we're doing this, we're trying to feel good about ourselves, we're eating GMO food, we're always chasing comfort. And if you apply that aspect of your life to actually improving, this is kind of how it's gonna look. You're gonna be stuck in this loop. So we all start in a state of comfort, right? If you're comfortable in the gym, right, you're probably doing low weights. And this extrapolates to your mental aspect as well, but this is the physical example, right? You're probably doing low weights. You do low weights, you do not reach failure. And if you do reach failure, it's damn near cardio. You're not building any muscle. You're not doing really anything at all, right? No failure equals little progress, right? You might you might see a pump here and there. You might get little wins here and there, but you're not doing anything optimally. If you, for example, compare your progress with anybody else's who's doing the same thing as you, and all they're doing is failing a little bit better, you're gonna be like, fuck, what's wrong with me? Why are my genetics so bad? You're not gonna feel adequate at all, especially when you compare yourself to others. Little progress always goes to F this, bro. You can only hit your head against that glass ceiling for so long, for so long until you give up, which brings you back to comfort. Because once you say F this, you're not gonna like just give up because you know that like your current life is not a good place. That's why you started in the first place. So you're going to actually increase your comfort even more. You're gonna come up with these rationales why, oh, I don't actually have to go to the gym, I don't have time, maybe you have kids, you're gonna come up with all these excuses and BS reasonings. That's only gonna last for so long before you go back into the gym, you give it another try, and you do the same bull crap over again that didn't work the first time. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're never paying off that failure debt you remember from earlier in the video, right? Or maybe you pay it off a little bit, but once you say F this, as soon as you mentally give up, you say F this, that you might as well pour, dump, like imagine this, right, as the thing that was full. Imagine you get it up here, you might as well unscrew the cap and dump it all out. Hey, this, by the way, not sponsored, fire debloat method. If you know, you know. Sorry about the side tangent. But anyways, you might as well dump it out on the ground and reset your whole progress, right? And you've probably been through this loop before, especially if you can kind of like, okay, I'm starting to get it. Yeah, this video was for you. You're welcome. Subscribe, okay? No, but seriously, now I'm going to teach you guys how to actually fix that and what loop you need to be in. Can you guys guess the name of this one? Probably not. You are going to be in what's called the challenge loop, okay? And you might be saying, okay, well, loop sounds bad. Like if I'm gonna end up where I started in the first place, this is probably still bad. No, this one is good because I won't extrapolate this right now, but everything in life is a loop. It's just if you can progress to the next level and reset the loop the right way. This is how you do it. By the way, if you don't understand this yet, there's probably another, this is probably another reason you haven't succeeded, because you don't understand that everything in life is actually a loop if you really extrapolate the knowledge. So this will clear that up too. But the challenge loop has always one first step, and that starts with, wow, my handwriting sucks, failure, okay? That says failure, I promise, right? I know we're getting a little low on the whiteboard here, but failure always goes to adapt, which then goes to stronger or strengthening, which then goes to harder, right? Which then loops back to failure. Let me give you a mental representation that can hopefully speak to you guys, because this is exactly what I went through. When I first started going to the gym consistently, like when I actually started to get on it, right? After the years of failure debt was paid off, legitimately, right? You go to the gym, right, and you fail. Maybe you fail at putting on an outfit that makes you look good in the gym. You wear some stupid dad shoes or something, right? We all do it, okay? We've all been there. But let's stick to the physical example. Okay, you fail on your weights. You actually know and understand and feel safe enough to go heavy enough to fail, right? Then you fail the weights. That leads to adaptation. What happens in the body, right? Your muscles tear down, your ATP and all the stuff that repairs all the muscles. I'm not gonna get into the crazy science for you guys, because that's not important for you. Basically, it goes in your body, it repairs all that, makes it a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. That's how your muscles get bigger. You guys know that. That makes you stronger, right? The adaptation makes you stronger. Once you get stronger, you can do things that were harder. Things that if you would have tried here, you would have dropped the weight on your face, right? You could do things that are harder. Once you start to do things that are harder, you get back to the point where everything you do is failing again. So maybe the first time you failed 30-pound curls, right? You failed there. Now, since you've been through the loop, you can do 35s no problem. Once you move up to 40s, you fail again, right? But now you're failing at 40 pounds instead of 30 pounds, right? That is what's called the challenge loop. And if you extrapolate this, guys, if you guys were in school, in college or high school or whatever, you guys were at work trying to get a promotion at your job, this same thing actually applies to that too. This same thing applies because it's the cycle of pain and challenge that we deal with in our human lives. I just found a way to relate it to you guys in a fitness setting, okay? Because I think fitness is one of the most linear things that God has ever designed, right? Like you go to the gym every day, eat right, you're gonna get bigger. You know what I'm saying? Or you do cardio every day and you eat under your calories, you're gonna get smaller. It's scientific, right? The one adaptation I'm gonna have to throw to the end of this video for you guys to fully understand what I'm saying is that there's two types of this. We can break it down into two separate categories, and then you guys will be on your way. It's that physical failure is always good, 100% of the time. If you fail at something physically, your body will reward you because it's linear. But when you have something we call behavioral failure, this only works to a lesser extent. Physical failure is 8 reps and you can't do a 9. That's physical failure, pretty simple. Behavioral failure is like not even showing up to the gym in the first place. Well, yes, I talked about how that can teach you discipline and that can bring you the pain that you have to feel, that you have to pay off this debt, right? You have to pay this off. That can bring you that. To a certain extent, it can also remove your momentum. You know, if you guys know me, you know momentum is key and you have to keep your momentum at all costs. In my journal every single day, because I'm a big advocate of journaling, right? I journal. I will build momentum at all costs is one of my pillar 5 goals that I write every single day within my own method. And journaling and keeping track of your failures is a key aspect to actually succeeding as well. If you want my specific method to journaling, journal in the comments or DM me on Instagram. I will personally respond. No AI, no BS. I promise for a fact it'll be me. But to wrap up this idea, you need to understand that failure is actually a good thing. And people have been lying to you. You've been conditioned to think it's bad, right? If you fail a test in school, you get held back a grade. I mean, you're conditioned to think that this is such a horrible, terrible thing that will end your life. And when in reality, like, you'll be just fine. If you're sitting under a barbell that could, you might fail, right? And you don't have anybody to re-rack it. Worst case scenario, you sit there with it on your chest for a minute until some other dude in the gym gets up and helps you get it off. Like, it's really not that bad. But you have to understand that. So go fail today. Go out in the world. Do things that you are going to be bad at, especially gym related, and understand that it's a good thing and use it to build momentum. I love each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions, DM me on Instagram or comment right here on the video. I will respond. God bless you guys. Get to work and have an amazing rest of your day. Peace out.